Years back, I was one of America's first consumer reporters. Having that camera around was very helpful because when consumers were hurt, I could bring the camera to the business and confront the crook. Everyone would see what a crook he was, and that was great. It warned others. Still, it didn't do much for the consumer who was hurt. They were out money, sometimes physically hurt. So then I thought, what about those lawyers, tort lawyers, personal injury lawyers? Hey, I can report on the ripoff, but the lawyers have real power. They'll sue that company, force them to change, get the victim some money. And you've seen those kinds of ads.
Higher cash awards. 459 cash. Get what's yours.
Get what's yours.
You deserve what's fair.
You deserve truth, justice, and fairness.
So I started referring hurt consumers to lawyers. Not the lawyers in those ads, other lawyers. But then I found consumers often called me later to say, my lawyer ripped me off. He took most of the money. Even when the lawyers did help their clients, they often hurt everyone else because fear of the lawyers in their lawsuits takes things away. Take things away like diving boards, swimming pools.
There really isn't anywhere else in the area for children to play or hang out. It was a family favorite. Everybody came here.
And then it stopped. And what a disappointment to the people and the kids, especially the kids. They adored Mount Laurel Pool.
Mount Laurel Pool is closed today because one swimmer cut his foot and sued.
They were suing me for $100,000. It was all handled by the lawyers. And they said, we'll make a settlement. And that's when I decided to close it.
With the legal fees, it was too much to stay in business. The town lost a pool.
This happens all the time. Pools close, playgrounds, gymnastics programs. It's why I've come to think of lawyers the way I think about nuclear missiles. We need some of them to keep us safe, to protect us from bad guys. But we avoid using the missiles. We understand the collateral damage they do. We ought to avoid lawyers for the same reason. They do tremendous damage. And you can see it in health care. The lawyers claim we punish the bad doctors in hospitals, and you who are hurt, we'll get you compensation.
I'm a lawyer. I fix problems. Your problems. Brown and Crouppen has collected over $1/3 billion for injured people. Not million, billion.
Okay, but there is another side to that story. Dr. Manny Alvarez joins us now. He's chairman of obstetrics at Hackensack University of Medical Center. The lawyers say they're saving lives.
I'm a bad doctor. I'm a bad doctor, you know. Take 1/3 of my money, take 1/3 of my pension. I'm a bad doctor. Look, I don't know any physician.
The third you're referring to, that's what you pay in malpractice insurance?
Malpractice insurance. I pay over $100,000 in malpractice insurance for many years now, so you add that up. You know, malpractice has dramatically changed the face of medicine.
Lawyers say, come on, medical malpractice lawsuits, 1%, maybe 2% of the cost of health care.
Absolutely not. Look, if you look at any survey, the way physicians practice medicine, the way hospitals practice medicine, a lot of it is defensive. If you talk to emergency room physicians, you know, you walk in with a headache, what do? They order a CAT scan, an MRI, you name it. Sometimes you can make the diagnosis without really spending all those thousands of dollars.
Let's clarify that. So maybe it's 1% or 2% in direct costs, but the indirect cost is all the unnecessary testing.
Absolutely. Unnecessary testing, unnecessary
x-rays. You do unnecessary tests?
Absolutely. Every day. You have to.
Let's take one area. Let's take cerebral palsy. Vice presidential candidate John Edwards made $40 to $80 million. He won't say how much on various tort lawsuits. A lot of it's cerebral palsy cases. At one point, he channeled the baby. He said, let me out, and a jury awarded millions of dollars. He said the baby got cerebral palsy because doctors like you were too lazy to do a C-section.
Look, you know, C-section rates have gone up in this country for multiple reasons. I think it's one of the consequences of all of this defensive medicine.
Well, this is a reason I call lawyers parasites, and C-sections are a good example. They are bad for lots of reasons. They're real surgery, unlike natural childbirth. They cost much more, require a longer hospital stay, and they're riskier for the woman. So cerebral palsy rates haven't gone down since this increase in C-sections. Has John Edwards apologized for all the money he made, given it back? No. The lawyers say they're the good guys. And Friday, I interviewed one of the most successful, Jeffrey Feiger. You help people?
I'm a trial lawyer. I'm a people's warrior. The higher-ups in our society only are protected, really, by the law. And the only thing an ordinary person can do is hire somebody like me, a warrior, to go after those higher-ups.
His law firm bills itself as the top personal injury firm in America. And he brags about the huge verdicts he wins for people. $50 million, $30 million, $30 million. It's made Feiger very rich because he keeps at least a third of those millions.
Fox recently interviewed one of your clients, spoke to the client on the phone who fell asleep on the airplane.
Yes.
She didn't seem to know much about her case. Let's play this clip.
You're asking for monetary damages, as I understand it. How much?
I have no idea.
But you have filed the suit?
Yes.
Okay, what do you ask for in it?
Ask Jeffrey.
This woman doesn't know anything.
Of course she doesn't. She said, ask Jeffrey. That's a good answer. Ask me. She didn't file the lawsuit.
That's what I
do.
That's why I
Don't
call
ask
you
her,
the
ask
parasite
me.
steering people.
Why is it a parasite?
I'm going to have to pay more for my next flight.
No, you're not. What made you
because this
think
woman
that?
fell asleep on a plane, and you're going to force the airline to spend millions on other attorneys.
There is not one iota of truth to what you just said in terms of you having to pay more. For instance, health care. Everybody thinks medical malpractice suits raise the price of health care. In fact, it's not true. Medical malpractice suits account for less than 0.1% of the cost of health care.
Feiger, like John Edwards, has made millions on cerebral palsy cases.
You're a big fan of John Edwards.
He was a very good trial attorney.
Well, you both have made millions of dollars on medical malpractice cases and
I made more.
You made more cerebral palsy cases. You argue that the baby got cerebral palsy because they didn't do a C-section.
I don't argue that. Part of the reasons for children who develop cerebral palsy, and it's not the only reason, is lack of oxygen during the birthing process. We can get them out very fast, just like you can pluck somebody out at the bottom of a pool. I use that analogy.
His website brags about one cerebral palsy case that brought a $30 million jury verdict. He won that by doing what John Edwards once did. He channeled the baby.
Doctors, nurses, I'm suffocating. Please help me be born.
That's right. Well, if he could talk, who's the voice of the unborn? Who is going to be his voice because he can't speak? Jeffrey Feiger was going to be his voice.
I want to play baseball. I want to hug my mother. I want to tell her I love her.
I'm the voice of Walter Hollins. That's correct. And I'm not going to stop kicking these people's butts just because the system is broken, just because the system of justice has been taken over by the money interest. Until and unless they get rid of trial lawyers and the right to trial by jury, and as long as I keep breathing, I'm going to keep doing it.
I'm on their side. I want them to destroy you and most of your colleagues, not all, because for every person you help, you hurt 10.
No, John, you don't really believe that.
I do.
And you really don't want that because I know the reality of the situation. And you, my friend, haven't had that loss in your life, thank God.
Just take the cerebral palsy case. Yes, you help a guy who needs care.
Right.
But now the doctor says, maybe I better do a C-section. C-sections have gone from 7% of all births to 31% of all births.
Yes, much too frequently.
Has it reduced the incidence of cerebral palsy?
What,
Not
number
a bit.
of C-sections?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it hasn't.
Well,
Same rate.
I don't agree.
You were wrong. You convinced the jury, but your science was garbage.
No, that's not true. And the science isn't that if you do more C-sections, you'll reduce the rate of cerebral palsy. You got to do them timely.
Why'd we go from 7 to 31%?
Because doctors are lazy.
Because of people like you.
No.
They're scared of you.
That's
better
not
do a
true.
C-section.
Well,
Here comes Feiger. I better make sure.
John,
take her
they
out.
actually say that doctors used to say, we do more medical tests because of our fear of lawsuits. The fact of the matter is they do more medical tests because they make a fortune doing medical tests. More C-sections aren't done simply for fear of Jeff Feiger.
So the doctors are the bad guys and the lawyers are the good guys?
I'm a trial lawyer. They turned the word trial lawyer into 4-letter words, and I'm telling you, I'm the people's warrior, and I'm proud to do what I do. I am proud to be an American trial lawyer.